Hey there, happy holidays, and you're welcome. Okay. Hey there, happy holidays. You're watching the Salty Sea. And in the spirit of Christmas and, all the fun that we can have over the holidays, I wanted to do a video that wasn't so much focused on the competitive side of the game. So I'm going to look at some lists that are some of the sillier things that you can do in Warcry that I think might be really fun if you have the models and want to try it out yourself. So let's get into it. And no holiday themed Warhammer video would ever be complete without talking about Papanergle, the most generous of all of the Chaos gods. Now, this list that I want to take a look at has 11 units to give Nurgle's blessings to your opponent. And it's got two really cool units that are new with the GA books. One is Sloppity Bile Piper, whose double adds 1 to the movement of a whole deployment zone. So you put him in your hammer with 4 other units and hustle them forward to spread Nurgle's love. And then you've also got the Spoilpox Scrivener, who has the triple Menacing Overseer that gives +1 attack to every friendly within 9 inches. That's three more inches of range than this ability usually gets for other warbands. So this guy lets you gather up a little Christmas party near an objective, and you can be absolutely sure Spoilpox will bring a present for everyone you invited. I also love the two sculpts on these two demons. They're some of the best sculpts that GW has done on sort of a small foot unit. Then you've got Beast of Nurgle that are just adorable little doggos that just want to play. That is the actual lore on them too, which is kind of cool. And every good kid wants a puppy for Christmas, right? So your opponent's been a good kid. They can get a 30 wound Beast of Nurgle with +1 attack and bonus disengages on all their objectives. Finally, you've got Nurglings, which are just super cute. They should probably go in your hammer since they're your only unit with any movement whatsoever, other than the things that hang out with Sloppity Bile Piper. And then you finish off with 7 Plague Bearers. So this list might actually not suck, which is a little against the spirit of what I'm doing, but it's still pretty cool. It's a little too slow for competitive play in above ground games, but in a 5-round Catacombs match where you can really get into position and then actually pop the Scrivener ability and maybe win some team fights, this might actually be a real threat. Then we get on to Ociarch Bone Reapers, the indomitable tactic mastery of Lord Catacross here. And here we get a little silly. So Stalkers with Spirit Swords are move 5, their damage efficiency and tank score, both above 7, just an awesome unit. It almost made my top heavyweights video, even gave it a little shout out, I think somewhere in the beginning. But the Dread Falchion version, though, costs 5 more points to do less damage. Except for the quad. You see, if you pop the quad, the damage from the Dread Falchions comes off just 3 attacks. They just have a big damage profile per hit. And the quad can actually double or even triple your damage if you roll a 6 off it. Because, it adds the number of the dice value to the attack. So you're going from 3 attacks to maybe 9, which can just get you an incredible explosion that, a little janky because it's not the best unit and it really relies on something that you're going to have to burn a lot of wild dice to get to, but still pretty sweet. So I decided, let's pair it with the other oddly janky part of Ociarch Bone Reaper warbands, which is all the shield guys. They've all got toughness 5 already on their little shields, these Mortec with blade and shield, and then the Hecatos. But they've got this wonderful double ability that adds 1 to all their toughnesses. But going from 5 to 6 is just almost entirely pointless, except against the biggest, baddest units of all. Which kind of reminded me somehow of Gren, if you ever watched Game of Thrones, holding the gate against that giant. So you can easily just fan canon that the Hecatos is Gren, brought back as a Skelly to hold gates for the other team. Finally, we're finishing this off with a Morghast Harbinger, with spirit swords. This is actually a pretty strong unit with quite a bit of mobility, some decent damage potential, although has a tough time one-shotting chaff. Um, but it's also got an ability to get a bonus move, which is really powerful. So if you don't have the wild dice to get your awesome combo off on the Dread Falchions, a combo which, by the way, I think can end up doing like 22, 23 damage. If you don't have the wild dice to do that, then getting free movements with the Morghast Harbinger is a pretty good time too. Then for our third list, we're going to go into Angry Zinch. Zinch is the tricksy chaos god, the fanciest of all of them, the one always doing things just as planned. Except in this case, unless Zinch, Lord of Change as he is, just wanted to change into real angry charge mode. You see, the Ogroid Thaumaturge can get a permanent onslaught if it's taken 15 damage. So while normally a Zinch warband is sort of trying to dance around and outmaneuver the opponent, if you're centering around a Thaumaturge, you actually just want to charge forward, which is kind of a fun change of pace. And then the Thaumaturge's triple ability, which is actually all the Zinch ones get it. It's called Master of Destiny. It lets you add the value of the triple to the next ability you use this round. It combos with the Varangard double, which is Relentless Killers, which lets you add the value of the dice to the number of attacks that a Varangard gets. So that's great in Zinch, although is it efficient to burn a triple to ensure that a double goes off for a 6? No. But do we care? Definitely no. So this lets you just absolutely maximize your Varangard. If you spent a bunch of time putting together and then painting them, only to find that you don't necessarily get the best use out of them, don't worry. Zinch Varangard, you can absolutely center your warband around them. And so this one just has these two huge heavy hitters. Very low numbers on this warband, but that's okay. You're here to have fun. And you've got some utility too. The Cenari Acolyte with the Volcark, that's the one with the little bird on it, it can actually prevent disengages from 20 inches away. So, once you run forward with your two giant monsters, you can make it so your opponent can't run away from them, which is great. Then, two Zangors, those are a pretty good chaff unit. And then the Zangor Enlightened on Disc is actually a pretty legitimately clever boy. So maybe it goes against the spirit of this warband, but that's okay. It's got flying, 2-inch range. It's just an excellent unit. I could have put it in the number 8 slot in the top heavyweights video alongside the Arch Revenant. While I think that one might be a tiny bit better, this is still definitely in the same mold and very quality. Finally, I just want to bring you one last warband, and that's with the Cenari Catalar. A pretty new unit, came with Luminous Realm Lords and just got added. It just has an incredible triple ability. So you do have to build around it a bit, but what it does is you pick a visible friendly fighter within 12 and a visible enemy within 12. Then you get to roll dice equal to the damage the friendly fighter has taken, and for each 4-up, you deal a damage to the enemy, which is just awesome. If you get a little lucky, you can just get a ridiculous amount of damage off, but even then, you're still unlikely, if you have a lot of damage on something, to like completely whiff. So the one thing you're looking for, though, is units with a ton of hit points that your opponent absolutely has to deal with. And that's a little tough in order. A lot of the best ones for that are actually in Chaos, but you do have a couple targets, and one of them is the Lord Aquiller. It's in Stormcast Vanguard. It's sort of a mounted unit, mounted on a Griff Charger. It's got 5 toughness, 38 HP, movement 10. You can put it right in your opponent's face right away and just force them to fight it. And then because of the toughness, it's going to take them a really long time to grind it down, especially down to like all the way dead. So it's going to spend a lot of time in that perfect sweet spot of pretty damaged but not dead yet. And that's when you can pop your Cathalar ability to just combo off, and sometimes just in one ability, just take out a semi-elite unit or just finish off your opponent's most important unit. Then, because you're in Vanguard, you get to finish off with both Gryph-hounds and Aetherwings. Gryph-hounds being a really nice mobile sort of helper unit that can do a lot of damage in bursts because of its ability. And then Aetherwings just dominate every objective. So it's also just, this gives you a lot of really cool, sort of if you want to build up this warband and play it a lot, you have a ton of really cool sort of hobby opportunities here. It's just sort of this classic fantasy look of, lord and lady riding around with their menagerie of pets. You can do a lot of things with that. And by the way, this list might actually just be really good. You've got mobility, you've got numbers, you've got really potent offensive tricks. So, the ability to ally things in is kind of giving a lot of different combos that we can look at. That's worth sinking into in the next few months with Warcry, and this is one of them. So I'm pretty excited about it. So there it is. Merry Christmas, everyone. Just a quick video on some of the sweeter, jankier combos that you can pull off in this game that you can play for. Not everything has to be sort of mono-serious control, going for the most competitive lists against your buddies. We can have fun with this game. I think that's the real greatest strength of this game is kind of some of the sillier things you can do, some of the epic moments you can create. I don't know what would be more epic than having a Lord Aquila almost dead, and then your Cathalar comes in and rolls 30 dice for you and takes something out. So I hope you get a chance to try out something like that. And until you do, may all your rolls be crits.